The stars had never seemed so quiet. In the far reaches of the Sarian sector, entire fleets of alien ships drifted like shadows among the nebulae. For decades, the galaxy had been locked in brutal war, one of the fiercest conflicts any civilization had ever known. But now at last the fighting had stopped. For many, it seemed that peace had finally returned. On the planet Trevora, high above the capital city, the alien leaders gathered in the grand hall of crystalline towers. The room shimmered with the soft glow of energy crystals embedded in the walls. Hollow displays floated mid-air, showing images of destroyed planets, abandoned warships, and the newly drawn borders between star systems. "Finally," said Velkath, the supreme commander of the Catherians, a reptilian species known for their precision and discipline. "The war is over. Humanity has been contained. Their fleets are gone. Our borders are safe." Around him, other alien leaders nodded. The Eldarim, the Kyrex, and the Voltra, all major powers in the sector, shared his confidence. They had fought the humans to a standstill, or so they believed. Tales of human aggression had grown into legends over the decades, but the humans themselves seemed to have vanished into the void, leaving only ghost stories behind. "Do not grow complacent," warned Maelara, the Kyrex strategist. Her sharp eyes scanned the room. "Legends are not proof. Humans are clever and they adapt. Remember the Battle of Corin's Edge? Even when cornered, they did not surrender." Velkath waved dismissively. "That was centuries ago. We have learned their weaknesses. We have rebuilt faster than they ever could. Humanity is history, nothing more." But not everyone agreed. Small scouts patrolled the edges of human-controlled space, reporting strange energy fluctuations near abandoned human outposts. These signals were faint, almost imperceptible, but persistent. Some scientists suggested they might be natural anomalies, but others whispered darker possibilities. Meanwhile, on the edges of the sector, a silent observer floated in the darkness. It was unlike any ship the galaxy had seen. Massive yet sleek, its hull reflected starlight like a blade of black glass. Deep within, humans worked quietly, monitoring alien activity. They were aware of every movement in the sector, and for decades they had waited. Decades ago, humanity had suffered catastrophic losses during the Great Galactic War. Entire fleets had been destroyed, home colonies had been ravaged, and their forces scattered across distant systems. But humanity had not given up. They had hidden, retreated into the void, and built weapons and ships the galaxy had never imagined. Among these was a Dreadnought unlike any other, an enormous warship capable of surviving multiple attacks while delivering unmatched firepower. Now, that Dreadnought was ready. Back on Trivera, the alien leaders celebrated what they believed to be victory. Streets were filled with citizens cheering for a new era. Children played under the towers, unaware of the scars left by the past war. Markets bustled with exotic goods from across the sector, and music echoed through the crystalline plazas. It was a peace the galaxy had longed for, and few questioned it, but whispers began to circulate in the shadows. Some traders and pilots spoke of mysterious energy spikes, of ships vanishing and reappearing in odd places, of strange signals that could not be explained. Most dismissed these stories as superstition. After all, humanity had been defeated, or so everyone believed. In the command room of the Catherian flagship, a young officer studied recent reports with growing unease. "Commander," she said, her voice tight with concern, "we are detecting an unusual energy signature near the old human outpost at Zone 47. It's unlike anything we've recorded before." Velkath glanced at the readings, frowning. "Another false alarm?" "I don't think so," the officer replied. "It's steady, growing stronger, and it's moving. Something or someone is coming." Velkath's tail flicked nervously. "Impossible. Humans are gone. We've checked the sector for years. There is nothing there." Yet deep inside even he felt a shadow of doubt. Legends often contained a kernel of truth, and humans were nothing if not unpredictable. Far beyond the Trevora system, the Dreadnought moved silently through a hidden rift in space. Its hull absorbed the faint light of distant stars, leaving it almost invisible. Inside, the human crew went about their tasks with calm precision. Every console, every sensor, every weapon system was monitored. "Approaching Zone 47, reported Lieutenant Sora, the Dreadnought's tactical officer. Her voice was steady, betraying none of the excitement that bubbled beneath. "Energy readings are consistent with prior scans. Aliens appear unaware of our presence. Captain Wren, a seasoned human commander, nodded. His eyes reflected the faint glow of the control panels. Good, maintain stealth. Let them believe the war is over. We will not strike yet. Let them grow complacent. He knew the galaxy had underestimated humanity for too long. The humans had been written off as a defeated species, their fleet scattered, their colonies lost. But the Dreadnought was proof that humans were still a force to be reckoned with. It was not just a ship, it was a symbol, a warning and a promise all in one. Meanwhile, on Trevora, the aliens began their usual routine. Fleets patrolled the space lanes, citizens enjoyed the rare peace, and leaders exchanged pleasantries. Yet subtle signs of unease lingered. Some pilots reported fleeting shadows on their scanners, strange ripples in space that defied explanation. Scientists debated endlessly, unable to reach a conclusion. Perhaps it is only a natural phenomenon, one said, waving his tentacle at the readings. A flare from a dying star or a magnetic disturbance. Mylara was unconvinced. Nature does not produce precise moving energy signals. This is intentional. Something or someone is out there waiting. Her warning was lost in the celebration. Few took it seriously. Humans had been a threat long ago, but time had dulled fear. And the galaxy, eager to forget the horrors of war, wanted to believe it was finally safe. Back in the void, the Dreadnought adjusted its course. Its sensors had identified key positions, enemy patrols, and weak points in the alien defenses. It moved like a predator, silent and patient. Inside, the humans worked with methodical precision, ensuring that every detail was accounted for. Captain Wren spoke to the crew, his voice calm but firm. The galaxy thinks it is safe. They think humanity is gone. They are wrong. Our mission is not to destroy recklessly, but to remind them of our presence. We will strike with purpose, precision, and mercy. The crew nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. They had trained for years, enduring hardship and loss, preparing for a single opportunity. Now that opportunity had arrived. On Trevora, the night passed without incident. Citizens slept under a sky bright with stars, unaware of the shadow approaching from the void. Alien leaders rested easy in their crystalline towers, convinced that the peace they had fought for was real. But in the darkness between stars, something moved with intent. A human dreadnought, silent and immense, cut through the emptiness like a blade. Its arrival would change the galaxy forever. By dawn, energy sensors on Trevora's outposts began to flicker. Small, unexplained disturbances rippled through space. Pilots reported unusual blips on their radars. Scientists hurried to understand what they were seeing, but no explanation fit. And then, a warning signal flashed across the alien fleets. Something large, massive, and unseen was approaching fast. All at once, a realization struck the leaders of the galaxy. Perhaps the humans had never truly been gone. Velkath stared at the readings, his confidence slipping. Impossible, he whispered. It cannot be. Not one ship, surely not a dreadnought. But the evidence was undeniable. Something powerful, unlike anything they had encountered, was coming. And somewhere in the quiet of the void, the humans aboard the Dreadnought prepared for the moment that would shatter the illusion of peace. The war was not over, not by a long shot. The darkness of space had always been a place of silence, yet now it felt alive. Sensors across the Sarian sector picked up a massive object moving with impossible speed. Fleets scrambled, but nothing could identify it clearly. By the time the alien commanders realized the scale of what was approaching, it was too late to respond with confidence. Out of a hidden rift between two star systems, the human dreadnought appeared. Its hull gleamed with a black metallic sheen that reflected starlight in sharp angles. It was massive, dwarfing many of the alien battleships in the sector. Streamlined yet heavily armored, it moved like a predator among the stars. The humans aboard were calm, their eyes scanning every sensor readout. Target acquired, Lieutenant Sora said, her voice precise. All fleets in this sector are within range. Energy output is optimal. They have detected nothing. Captain Wren leaned over the console, observing alien fleets moving into disorganized patterns. Maintain stealth, he ordered. We are not here to annihilate blindly. We will strike only when necessary. But the aliens were already aware that something unusual had entered the sector. Trevora's fleet commanders noticed disturbances in the energy fields. Ships trembled as if sensing the presence of an enormous object. Panic spread among the ranks. Commander Velkath, one officer called over the comm, our sensors show a massive energy signature approaching from the outer rim. Its speed, it is unprecedented. Velkath's eyes narrowed. Impossible. Humans cannot move this fast. It must be a glitch. Yet the readings were consistent. Every monitor, every array of instruments confirmed the same fact. A massive ship, one unlike anything recorded in history, was heading directly toward Trevora. As the Dreadnought closed the distance, its sensors recorded every alien formation, every weak point in their fleet. The humans studied the enemy movements carefully, mapping patterns, predicting reactions. They were precise, not reckless. Unlike the alien fleets, which relied on sheer numbers and firepower, humans relied on intelligence, strategy, and adaptability. Range is optimal for first strike, Sora said. Shall we engage? Ren shook his head. Not yet. Let them believe the war is over. Let them waste their time in false confidence. Our first move will be decisive and unforgettable. Across the sector, alien leaders convened emergency meetings. Scientists, strategists, and commanders crowded together, all trying to make sense of the readings. It cannot be human, Melara said, her eyes wide with disbelief. They were destroyed decades ago. Our records are clear. But the energy signature is unmistakable, another scientist replied. This is not a natural phenomenon. It is artificial, enormous, and moving with intent. Panic began to take root. Orders were given to mobilize fleets, but coordination was slow. The Dreadnought had already moved into a position that gave it a perfect vantage point. Its stealth systems kept it undetected to most, but its sensors could see everything. Every alien ship, every formation, every weapon system was visible to the humans. Prepare for disruption, Ren said quietly. We will not fire unless fired upon, but we will demonstrate that humans are no longer a threat to ignore. At that moment, the Dreadnought's shadow passed over a small alien outpost. From the surface, technicians and officers watched as an enormous black shape moved across the void, faster than any ship they had seen. Communications went silent as panic swept through the ranks. The humans had arrived, and with them an entirely new reality. In the alien fleets, confusion spread like wildfire. Fleets that had once moved in perfect synchronization faltered. Pilots struggled to understand what they were facing. Velkath barked orders, but his voice was filled with uncertainty. All units engage sensors. Track the anomaly. Prepare to defend. But the Dreadnought did not attack. It moved with patience, observing, calculating. Its presence alone caused chaos. Smaller ships collided, energy beams misfired, and command structures faltered. Humans had introduced a single variable into the system, and the alien fleets could not respond effectively. Inside the Dreadnought, crew members worked with quiet efficiency. Every console displayed real-time data on enemy movements. Calculations were made faster than any alien computer could process. Algorithms predicted the most likely actions of every enemy ship. Commander, Sora said, our simulations indicate that if we maintain current positioning, we can neutralize one of their main battleships with minimal effort. Shall we proceed? Ren nodded. Proceed. Let them see what humanity is capable of. The Dreadnought fired its first salvo. Energy beams streaked across space with blinding speed, striking an alien battleship at multiple points simultaneously. The ship shuddered under the assault, its shields failing instantly. With a final, controlled blast, it exploded in a flash of light, debris scattering in all directions. The effect was immediate and terrifying. Alien pilots froze in shock, unable to comprehend the scale of the attack. The Dreadnought had destroyed a heavily armed battleship in moments with precision and efficiency that defied belief. Enemy formation disrupted, Sora reported. They are attempting to regroup. Velkath's scales rippled with anger and fear. Focus fire. Destroy that ship, he shouted. But the alien fleets were slow, uncoordinated, and terrified. The humans had already predicted their moves, using their own formations against them. Prepare secondary strike, Ren said. We are not finished. Send a warning that humans are not to be underestimated. The Dreadnought launched several drones, each one small but heavily armed. They swarmed through the alien fleets, disabling weapon systems, creating confusion and ensuring that no ship could recover easily. The humans were surgical, precise, and merciful. They targeted only military assets, leaving civilian stations untouched. Panic spread across the sector. Alien commanders realized that the humans were not just powerful. They were intelligent, disciplined, and organized. Their attacks were unlike anything the aliens had faced before. Every maneuver had purpose. Every strike had meaning. Melara watched helplessly as her fleets faltered. This is not just a ship, she whispered. It is a weapon, a strategy, a mind. Humans, they think differently. We cannot match them with numbers alone. On the surface of Trevora, civilians sensed something was wrong. Alarms blared across the cities, warning of unidentified objects in orbit. People stared at the night sky, terrified by the shadows moving faster than thought possible. For many, it was the first glimpse of humanity in decades, and it was unlike anything they had imagined. Despite the chaos, the humans remained calm. The Dreadnought maneuvered with careful precision, avoiding unnecessary destruction. Its crew understood the importance of restraint. They were not here to annihilate blindly. They were here to remind the galaxy that humanity had returned, strong and capable. As the alien fleet scrambled to recover, Ren gave his final orders for the engagement. Send a transmission. Let them understand. We do not seek war, but we will defend ourselves. Humanity is here, and we will not be ignored. A clear, calm message echoed across the sector, reaching every ship and outpost. Peace is possible. Underestimate us at your own risk. The effect was immediate. Fear replaced arrogance. Commanders argued among themselves. Some wanted to retreat, while others insisted on attacking. Disarray spread like wildfire. The Dreadnought had accomplished its goal without firing a single indiscriminate shot. Humans had reminded the galaxy of their presence and their power. Yet, even as the aliens panicked, Ren knew this was only the beginning. The war might have been thought over, but the humans had returned to a galaxy that had forgotten them, and now the Dreadnought was ready to show what humanity could truly achieve. The void of space seemed darker than before, filled with tension and uncertainty. Fleets that had once believed themselves secure now trembled at the thought of a single ship capable of such devastation. The humans aboard the Dreadnought continued to monitor every movement, patient, waiting for the moment to strike again, but always with purpose. For the first time in decades, the galaxy realized a simple, terrifying truth. Humanity was not gone. And from the darkness of space, the humans watched, prepared, and calculated. The Dreadnought was just the beginning. The alien fleets of the Sarian sector were in chaos. What had appeared as a fleeting anomaly had become the undeniable presence of a human Dreadnought, a ship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Catherian, Kyrix, and Voltra commanders scrambled to coordinate attacks, but each order seemed slower than the humans' reaction time. Velkath's tail flicked anxiously as he paced in the command chamber of his flagship. How can one ship disrupt entire fleets? He growled. We are superior in numbers. We have weapons they cannot match. Commander, Melara interjected, her voice calm but urgent. It is not just the ship. Humans are thinking differently. They anticipate, adapt, and exploit weaknesses we never expected. This is a strategy we cannot counter with brute force alone. Velkath scowled. Then we must overwhelm it with numbers. Deploy the 7th Armada and the Triad Strike Fleet. Crush it before it can adapt further. Meanwhile, the human Dreadnought hovered in a silent orbit above a dense asteroid field. The humans had predicted the aliens' next moves. They knew the fleets would try to converge and overwhelm them, but the Dreadnought was prepared. Lieutenant Sora, Captain Ren said, initiate decoy drones. Deploy them near the asteroid cluster. Let them think they have trapped us. The crew worked quickly. Dozens of sleek high-speed drones launched into the void, maneuvering as if they were the Dreadnought itself. Alien sensors picked up the decoys, mistaking them for the massive human ship. Commanders, Ren continued, we will use the terrain to our advantage. The asteroid field is dense, but our navigation is precise. They cannot match it. As predicted, alien fleets pursued the drones. Battleships entered the asteroid field, firing energy beams wildly, attempting to destroy what they thought was the Dreadnought. Explosions shook asteroids and sent debris scattering, but the real human ship remained undetected. Targeting isolated battleships, Sora said. Minimal energy output. Maximum precision. The humans struck with surgical accuracy, beams fired from hidden positions, disabling engines and weapon arrays of unsuspecting ships. Alien pilots screamed in confusion as their comrades' ships fell silently one by one. Velkath's communications console beeped urgently. What is happening? Why are our fleets falling apart? Melara shook her head. They are using tactics, not brute force. Look at their positioning. Every move is calculated. We cannot anticipate it using traditional strategies. The aliens attempted to regroup, forming defensive formations. But humans were already predicting their next positions. The Dreadnought moved like a shadow, invisible and unstoppable. It wasn't reckless. It was methodical. Every strike was measured, every maneuver deliberate. Deploy electromagnetic pulse drones, Wren commanded. Disable shields temporarily. Avoid unnecessary destruction. The EMP drone slipped through the chaos, disabling shields on multiple alien ships. Without their defenses, the fleets became vulnerable to targeted strikes. One by one, battleships faltered, their energy beams misfiring, engines stuttering, and communication lines breaking. Across the sector, the scale of human strategy became clear. The aliens realized they were not facing just a ship. They were facing a mind capable of controlling the battlefield with precision that no computer could match. In the middle of the chaos, smaller human strike ships emerged from hidden warp points. Agile and fast, they attacked alien supply vessels and repair ships, crippling the fleet's ability to recover. The humans had prepared for this. They had not only brought one Dreadnought, they had an entire system of supporting vessels designed to maximize efficiency and minimize waste. Velkath slammed his clawed hand against the console. Retreat? No. We cannot retreat. Attack with everything we have! But each wave of reinforcements fell into traps. The Dreadnought had predicted their formations, their speed, and even their likely reactions to previous losses. Alien commanders tried improvising, but the humans adapted instantly. It was as if they were always one step ahead. Mylara, observing from her station, realized the horrifying truth. They are not just fighting. They are teaching us how limited our tactics are. They understand patterns, psychology, and terrain in ways we cannot compete with. They are evolving the battle as they fight. In the asteroid field, explosions lit the void. Debris spun in slow motion, reflecting the eerie lights of the human Dreadnought. One alien battleship tried to ram the hidden ship, only to find itself trapped in a precise pattern of gravitational fields manipulated by human calculations. Its engines failed, and it was destroyed without the Dreadnought ever firing directly. Captain Wren watched the displays calmly. Sora, open communications. I want the fleets to hear this. A voice clear and confident echoed through the alien communication channels. You underestimated us. Peace is your choice. War is ours only if you force it. Humanity is back. The effect was immediate. Panic turned into fear. Fleets broke formations. Commanders argued over strategies, and soldiers debated whether to continue the fight. The Dreadnought had not just attacked. It had demonstrated human superiority, intelligence, and discipline in a way no alien had ever witnessed. Back on Trivora, the panic was visible from orbit. Citizens watched their fleets fall apart in the skies above. Scientists scrambled to understand what had gone wrong, but no theory fit. Even the most advanced minds in the sector struggled to comprehend a single ship dismantling coordinated fleets with ease. Meanwhile, the humans maintained their discipline. They avoided unnecessary destruction and ensured civilian stations remained untouched. They were showing the galaxy that humans were not reckless conquerors. They were protectors and strategists. Prepare for the next phase, Wren ordered. We will guide them to understand. They must see that humanity cannot be ignored. As alien fleets tried to regroup, human drones led them into new positions. Using subtle gravitational manipulations and predictive calculations, the humans created controlled chaos, forcing enemy ships into vulnerable configurations. Each wave of alien reinforcements found themselves trapped, misaligned, or forced to fight in disadvantageous positions. Velkath's voice trembled as he issued desperate orders. Converge on the central position. Target the drones. Destroy them all. But the drones were already gone, replaced by another layer of decoys. The Dreadnought itself remained hidden, moving silently through the shadows, observing every reaction, calculating the next perfect strike. The humans were always one step ahead. Mylara, watching the unfolding chaos, finally spoke aloud what no one wanted to admit. They are not just fighting, they are redefining combat. Our fleets are superior in size, but they are inferior in thought and flexibility and in adaptation. Humanity has returned to remind us that numbers are meaningless without strategy. Even Velkath could not argue. His fleets were disintegrating, not because of firepower alone, but because the humans had outsmarted them at every turn. Alien soldiers began to surrender in small numbers, confused and overwhelmed by the efficiency and precision of human tactics. From deep within the void, the humans continued to move like shadows, careful and disciplined. Captain Wren knew this was more than just a battle. It was a message. The galaxy had forgotten humanity, assumed they were weak and broken. But the humans had returned, and they were reminding everyone why they had once been feared and respected. As the day ended, the alien fleets had suffered massive losses. Ships were disabled, formations broken, and morale shattered. The Dreadnought had not unleashed its full power. It had only demonstrated what humans could do with intelligence, planning, and precise execution. Wren looked out at the stars through the command viewport. "They believed the war was over," he said softly. "They were wrong. This is only the beginning. They will remember humanity. They will respect humanity. And if necessary, they will fear us." The stars of the Sarian sector, once silent and serene, now seemed alive with tension. The humans had returned, and with them came a reminder. The galaxy could never again assume that humanity was defeated. They were patient, intelligent, and disciplined, a species capable of turning a single ship into an entire strategy that no alien fleet could easily counter. In the aftermath of the first engagement, alien leaders were forced to admit a simple, terrifying truth: humanity was no longer a memory of the past. It was a present, a force, and a reminder that intelligence, creativity, and adaptability could surpass raw power and numbers. And somewhere in the darkness, the human Dreadnought moved quietly, preparing for the next step. Its presence was a warning and a promise. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy had better pay attention. The galaxy had begun to understand that humanity was not just a relic of the past. The Catherian, Kyrix, and Voltra fleets had endured the first encounter with the human Dreadnought. But now, as they tried to recover, a greater realization dawned. The humans were not alone. From the hidden warp points scattered throughout the sector, smaller human strike ships emerged. They had been waiting, unseen, for the perfect moment to act. Agile, fast, and heavily armed, these ships moved with a purpose that the alien commanders could not anticipate. "Captain," Lieutenant Sora reported from the Dreadnought's tactical console, "our supporting fleet is in position. All units report readiness. We can now begin full engagement." Wren nodded, his face calm but determined. "Very well. Let's show them what humanity is truly capable of. This is not just a warning. It is a turning point." On Trevora, Velkath and the other alien leaders convened emergency meetings. Their fleets had suffered catastrophic disruption, and intelligence reports now indicated multiple high-speed vessels emerging from unseen warp points. Fear began to replace their earlier arrogance. "More ships?" Velkath hissed, pacing the command floor. "Impossible. Humans do not have fleets left." "They do," Mylara said, her voice tense. "And they have hidden them so well that even our most advanced sensors could not detect them. Their strategy is beyond anything we have faced." The alien fleets attempted to reorganize. Battleships were sent to block possible warp points. Fighter squadrons were dispatched to scout for hidden ships, and defensive formations were hastily arranged. Yet every move the aliens made played directly into the humans' plans. Within the asteroid fields near the outer rim, the human Dreadnought and its supporting fleet prepared to strike. Drones, decoys, and auxiliary strike ships formed layers of defense and offense. Every human vessel knew its role perfectly, guided by predictive calculations that anticipated every alien reaction. "Deploy the first wave of drones," Wren ordered. "Draw their fleets into our controlled zones. Let them think they are gaining the advantage." The drones moved quickly, projecting the image of a massive fleet where only a few ships existed. Alien sensors detected them and assumed the humans were attempting to confront them directly. In response, large groups of alien ships advanced aggressively, eager to crush what they thought was a human strike force. "Excellent," Wren said quietly. "Let them make the mistake." As the aliens moved forward, the humans struck from unexpected angles. The Dreadnought fired precision blasts, disabling the engines and weapons of ships in the rear of the advancing alien fleet. Simultaneously, the hidden human strike ships launched surgical strikes against supply vessels and repair stations, ensuring that the alien fleet could not recover quickly. Velkath's tail lashed in frustration. "How are they doing this? We have the numbers. Every attack should succeed. Why do they continue to evade us?" They are predicting our moves, Mylara said grimly. It is as if they know our strategies before we even execute them. Humanity has turned intelligence into a weapon more powerful than fleets. The aliens tried to respond with coordinated strikes, focusing all firepower on the human dreadnought. Massive energy beams crossed the void, aiming to overwhelm its shields. But the humans were ready. Using the asteroid field and advanced maneuvering, the dreadnought moved with impossible precision, evading attacks and striking back only when it was most effective. Secondary wave, Sora announced. Drones are in position for disruption. Energy output optimized for minimal collateral damage. The human drones activated, sending waves of energy pulses that temporarily disabled shields on several alien battleships. In moments, the alien fleet's cohesion was shattered. Ships collided, weapons misfired, and communication lines were disrupted. What had been a coordinated force became a chaotic scattering of frightened vessels. Open communications, Ren said. Let them hear our message. They need to understand that humans are not to be underestimated. The transmission echoed across the sector, reaching every fleet and command station. We are not your enemy unless you make us one. But humanity will defend itself. Your arrogance has been your weakness. Take heed, the effect was immediate. Alien commanders argued among themselves, unable to coordinate or focus. Some suggested retreat. Others demanded renewed attacks. Morale plummeted. The humans had not just defeated them, they had humiliated them strategically, proving that intelligence and coordination outweighed brute force. The dreadnought moved silently, watching the chaos unfold. Every maneuver was calculated, every strike intentional. Captain Wren observed the alien fleet's panic with a mix of pride and caution. He knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had to act decisively but also wisely. Reckless destruction would only harden the aliens' resolve. Prepare for controlled engagement, he said. We will neutralize key threats and force them to understand. They must respect us, not fear us blindly. Within moments, human strike ships executed their plan. They targeted command vessels and flagship units, disrupting leadership across the alien fleets. Confusion spread further, and alien ships began to retreat from positions they had previously held firmly. Human forces advanced strategically, applying pressure at the most critical points. Belkath's voice cracked as he tried to coordinate a counterattack. Form defensive lines. Protect the flagships. Don't let them advance. But it was too late. The humans had already anticipated every move. The dreadnought fired precision blasts that disabled energy arrays, while auxiliary strike ships neutralized key fighters attempting flanking maneuvers. The alien fleets were being systematically dismantled without full-scale destruction. Mylara realized the harsh truth. We cannot win by force. They are smarter, faster, and more disciplined than anything we have encountered. To continue this fight without understanding them is to court disaster. The human fleet paused for a moment, allowing the aliens to witness their power without delivering total annihilation. It was a calculated display. Humans were capable of overwhelming destruction, but they chose restraint. Their goal was not to conquer, but to make the galaxy understand that humanity had returned. And with it, a new era of power and strategy. Ren spoke quietly to Sora. They must learn the truth. Humans are not gone. We are patient, disciplined, and united. Today we have reminded them of that. Tomorrow we will continue to shape this galaxy, ensuring it respects humanity's place. The alien fleets, battered and demoralized, began to retreat towards safer regions of space. Ships were disabled, formations broken, and morale shattered. Commanders debated whether to continue the engagement or withdraw entirely. The humans had proven dominance not through reckless attacks but through intelligence planning and coordinated precision. From orbit above Trevora, civilians and scientists observed the aftermath. They had watched fleets crumble, leaders argue, and entire formations dissolve under the unseen hand of the humans. The scale of human strategy was unprecedented. Some scientists began to record the encounter in disbelief, acknowledging that a single ship and its supporting fleet had rewritten the rules of galactic warfare. Back in the void, the human dreadnought and its auxiliary ships regrouped. Every crew member was alert yet calm. They had achieved a decisive turning point, but the war was not yet over. Humanity had made its presence known, and the aliens had learned that underestimating humans was a fatal mistake. Ren looked out at the star-strewn expanse. The galaxy has seen what we can do. They will think twice before underestimating us again. But we must remain vigilant. The next move is theirs, and we will be ready. In the shattered fleets of the Sarian sector, alien leaders received a sobering lesson. Humanity was not only alive, but stronger than they had imagined. Intelligence, precision, and adaptability had triumphed over numbers and brute force. The turning point had come, and the galaxy would never again assume that humans were defeated. The stars above seemed quieter now, but the calm was deceptive. A human dreadnought waited in the shadows, ready to act again, to defend, to teach, and to remind the galaxy that humanity had returned to claim its place among the stars. The Sarian sector had changed forever. Alien fleets, once confident and proud, now drifted in disarray. Ships that had once seemed invincible lay crippled, their crews shaken and uncertain. The presence of the human dreadnought and its supporting fleet had shattered the illusion of peace. On the command bridge of Trevora's flagship, Velkath stared at the hollow display showing the human formations. The dreadnought hovered like a dark sentinel, supported by a swarm of smaller strike ships. Every movement was precise, calculated, and unrelenting. For the first time in his life, the Catherian commander felt genuine fear. "They have more ships than we realized," Melara whispered, her voice tight with anxiety. "And they are not reckless. Every strike is planned. They are teaching us how little we understand about warfare." Velkath gritted his teeth. "We cannot fight them. Our fleets are fragmented. Our leaders are demoralized. We must negotiate." Negotiation was a concept alien to them in war, but humanity had proven a new reality. The humans had returned not as conquerors, but as a disciplined and united species capable of overwhelming precision. The alien leaders had no choice but to acknowledge that brute force alone would not win. Meanwhile, Captain Wren observed the alien command centers with calm satisfaction. The human dreadnought and its supporting ships had not destroyed every vessel. They had demonstrated strength, strategy, and mercy. That was the true message. Humanity could dominate if it needed to, but it also sought order, respect, and peace. "Lieutenant Sora," Wren said, "prepare communication channels. We will offer terms. Let them understand the consequences of underestimation and the benefits of cooperation." "Yes, Commander," Sora replied, opening secure channels to the alien fleets. A calm voice echoed across the sector. "To all leaders of the Catherian, Kyrix, Voltra, and allied fleets, humanity has returned. We do not seek endless war, but we will defend ourselves. Peace is possible if you recognize our presence and respect our sovereignty. Further aggression will meet decisive resistance." For the first time, alien commanders truly listened. Velkath's scales rippled with tension. They are offering peace, but on their terms. "We cannot refuse," Melara nodded slowly. "We have no choice. They have shown us that intelligence, precision, and strategy can surpass numbers. Our arrogance has been our undoing." As alien leaders began formal communications, human forces maintained strategic positions. The dreadnought hovered at the center, an unmistakable symbol of power and discipline. Smaller strike ships patrolled the perimeter, ensuring that any attempt at deception or counterattack would fail. From orbit above Trevora, civilians watched with awe. Scientists documented the events meticulously, understanding that humanity had not only returned, but had redefined the rules of engagement. Humanity was no longer a distant memory or legend. It was a present force, disciplined, precise, and united. Negotiations began. Alien leaders, humbled and cautious, sent envoys to communicate with human representatives. The Dreadnought's crew maintained strict protocols, ensuring that all interactions conveyed respect but also strength. Humanity had made one point clear. Peace would be honored, but weakness would not be tolerated. Velkath spoke reluctantly, his voice steady despite fear. "We recognize your return, humanity. Your strength and strategy have humbled us. We wish to avoid further bloodshed." Captain Wren responded calmly. "We accept your acknowledgement. Let this be the beginning of a new era. Humanity seeks cooperation, protection of our people, and respect for our sovereignty. Any attempt to deceive or attack us again will be met with decisive action." The message was received, understood, and reluctantly accepted. Alien fleets began to withdraw to safe positions, leaving the humans in control of key sectors. The Dreadnought remained as a sentinel, not for conquest, but for ensuring order. Its presence alone guaranteed that no fleet would underestimate humans again. In the aftermath, human forces moved efficiently. They repaired damaged colonies, restored supply lines, and ensured that any affected civilian stations were safe and operational. Humanity had returned not to dominate through destruction, but to assert itself as a disciplined and protective force in the galaxy. Captain Wren addressed the crew of the Dreadnought and supporting fleet. Today we have not just won battles, we have restored humanity's place in the galaxy. Remember this, our strength is in discipline, strategy, and unity. We do not conquer recklessly. We protect, we defend, and we ensure our presence is respected. Let that be our legacy. The crew nodded, understanding the weight of their mission. They had seen the power of one human dreadnought and the precision of coordinated strategy. They had taught the galaxy a lesson that would be remembered for generations. Back on Trevora, alien leaders held private councils. The lesson was clear. Humanity could not be underestimated, nor could it be ignored. The arrogance of previous decades had been their downfall, and the memory of the Dreadnought would linger in every fleet command center. Across the sector, rumors spread. Humans were no longer just survivors, they were innovators, protectors, and a species that combined intelligence with precision. Tales of the Dreadnought's actions inspired awe and caution, reshaping how civilizations would interact with humanity for decades to come. Even as the galaxy adjusted, the humans did not stop. The Dreadnought led patrols into unexplored systems, scanning for threats and ensuring stability. Supporting strike ships maintained communication lines and provided protection to colonies previously abandoned. Humanity was not aggressive. They were guardians of their own future, demonstrating strength while fostering order. Captain Wren, standing on the bridge of the Dreadnought, looked out at the stars. "We have reminded the galaxy who we are," he said softly. "We are patient, disciplined, and united. Our presence ensures that no one will forget again. Humanity has returned, and this time the galaxy will recognize us as we are meant to be seen." The stars of the Sarian sector twinkled in quiet brilliance. Space was calm but no longer naive. Fleets that once assumed supremacy now calculated carefully, remembering the precision, strategy, and power of humanity. The era of underestimating humans was over. Somewhere beyond the outer rim, new civilizations observed the events with caution. The human dreadnought and its supporting fleet had shown that strength was not only measured in numbers or firepower, it was also in intelligence, planning, and unity. Humanity's return had changed the rules of the galaxy forever. In distant sectors, scouts reported strange energy signals, but now, instead of panic, there was respect. Humans were present. Humans were capable, and humans were watching. The human dreadnought, massive and silent, led its fleet toward unexplored regions. Every ship moved with purpose, every crew member alert, every system functioning with precision. The galaxy had witnessed the power of one ship, but the humans knew this was only the beginning. They had proven that intelligence, adaptability, and discipline could surpass all other advantages. For the first time in centuries, humanity was not just a memory or legend. They were a force that commanded respect, inspired caution, and ensured that the galaxy would never forget their presence. The wars of the past had tried to erase them, but humanity had endured. They had hidden, they had prepared, and now they had returned stronger than ever. The Sarian sector settled into an uneasy calm. Alien fleets retreated to safe positions, colonies rebuilt under human protection. Leaders who once believed in their superiority now acted with caution. And the human dreadnought continued its patrols, a constant reminder that humanity had returned, and this time, the galaxy would never underestimate them again. Captain Wren stood on the bridge, gazing at the stars, and allowed himself a small, satisfied smile. Humanity had survived, adapted, and emerged stronger. They had defended their people, reclaimed their place, and reminded the galaxy that intelligence, discipline, and unity were the greatest weapons any species could possess. The universe was vast, full of unknown threats and unexplored territories, but humanity was ready. They had proven that they were not just survivors, they were leaders, innovators, and protectors. The galaxy had witnessed the return of the human race, and there was no doubt that they were here to stay. And so, as the stars stretched endlessly into the distance, the human dreadnought sailed onward, leading a fleet that was more than just ships. It was a symbol. A symbol that humanity, though underestimated for centuries, had returned to claim its place in the galaxy, and that the age of underestimating humans was over forever.